Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Cool Down. And today
You're not
we've
doing as
got.
well as me.
Not as good as Silo. Silo wants to claim this intro for himself. Maybe next week you can have it on your 50th appearance, but you're not there yet. So let me have it because today is officially my 50th appearance. Can I get a little round of applause, please?
Hey!
How are you in 50?
I'll show
Silo,
you
you have
the
to wait your
stats.
turn, champ. That's all it
Did you
is.
talk to the
You have to wait your
books?
turn.
Did you talk to the books there?
Possibly. We'll have to find out later. But the spreadsheet says it's my 50th today, and I'm not going to let anyone take that away from me, just like no one can take away St. Maximum's goal this weekend. Am I right, Nick?
He did this dance. It was like,
Yeah.
I'll take it, bro. I'll take it.
If only you could do it as well, Nick.
Jeds, before we kick off the normal conversation, we've got a special guest in the house today, and largely because of the huge result we saw on the weekend, Leeds United. Darren Smalley, you've been watching our show for the last couple of weeks. Thank you very much for joining us. We're really, really happy to have you. So how are you doing, my man?
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I've been watching your guys' show for the past few weeks and some real quality content. I've really enjoyed it. And like you say, I mean, massive results on the weekend. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that. I'm on a Leeds United supporters group, and obviously these three games that we had coming up, City, United, and Liverpool, or City, Liverpool, United. I always said, well, we won't get zero from it. We'll definitely get some points, but I never expected it to be City, to be fair. So
Come on, get in there, Darren. Come on.
Man.
Beating Leeds United at home is not for everyone.
For
sure. So that's 3 points, man. That's 3 points of one game. The next two games aren't easy fixtures either. But I mean, jeepers, what a game that was, man.
Yeah, and I mean the red card. Obviously, I thought that was going to put the cat amongst the pigeons, but we showed a different element to ourselves on the weekend. I think Leeds the whole season have kind of just played this ultra attacking style where it's just gung ho the whole time, and then obviously with the red card we had to adjust a bit and defend for the whole second half, and hit them on the counter attack. So yeah, that was great.
Were you excited about seeing that actually happen on the day, Darren? Where, generally Leeds do get themselves into good positions, but because they continue this momentum of trying to go forward all the time, they open themselves up at the back. Were you happy with the gents taking that position of saying, look, let's just wait for the counter somehow?
Yeah, I think so. The only thing is, I don't know if you guys listened to Stuart Dallas's interview afterwards. The only reason we did do that was because of the red card, though, to be fair. So I've heard a few pundits say that we need to kind of maybe adjust and in certain situations maybe look at defending a bit more often. But I don't know. In Bielsa we trust ultimately. So whatever he says we go with, I guess. So
and to be fair, guys,
interesting. That is interesting. I've been very vocal about this. And Claudia, I think you know where. No. I rate Bielsa. He's a proven tactician. But I've said it. I said it a couple of months ago. I said if you guys are going to kick on and be a top 6, top 7 team, he's going to have to adapt the style with the players that he has, because ultimately the players that you have are only going to get you so far. That's just my opinion. I mean, if you are going to go into the upper realms of your 6, at the top 6, top 7. Teams are going to expose you, and you have been exposed to a fair degree this year at times, but it has paid off at times. So I would and Bielsa's he's a master at it, and I'm assuming if the longer they stay in the league, the more money they'll get, and the better players they'll eventually sign. So yeah, well done to them for now, but that's just my opinion on the matter.
Yeah, Darren, I don't know if you want to...
Yeah, look, I agree with Nick on a fair few aspects there. I think, Bielsa took over at Leeds 3 seasons ago, and we've played a similar style since the start. The thing is, and what you say is fair, with the investment and future players coming in, with the players we've got, I mean, they can only take us so far. Like, we're never going to, as much as we're only 4 points of Europe at the moment, that's not going to happen, right? So with the players that we've got, so at the end of the day, yeah, we're going to need investment. But 3 or 4 months ago, I can't remember the exact date, but the San Francisco 49ers bought 35% of Leeds. So there's big investment coming from there. So let's see what happens in the transfer market and see if we can invest and bring in some quality players. Not that, I mean, I'll always love our players that brought us up. They'll always obviously hold a special place in all Leeds fans' hearts. But like you say, I mean, they can only take you so far at the end of the day.
You need some added quality to certain positions. I think there is quality, and there are internationals within your team. You know, you look at what's this guy's name? Lorente is in the Spain squad. You know, I mean, Bamford is knocking on the England squad.
Phillips plays for England.
Phillips plays for England. Rafinha has been called up to Brazil. Then there's the German guy who also plays for Germany as well.
Robin
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and Melia is in the under-21 squad for France. So there are elements of your team where there are international level players, and they are players like top 6 level players, I think. And then there's just the grafters. You know what I mean? Your Luke Aylings, your Dallases. These guys are just graft. Dallas plays any position. You can play him left back. You can play him left wing back. You can play him centre back, right wing back, any center mid. He does well in the position. You know what I mean? Even goalkeeper will probably do a great job. You know what I mean? That guy is everywhere. So I think
going around about it,
exactly. So you need such players, but just a little bit. I think maybe like 3 more signings. You know, then I think you'll definitely do well going forward.
But before we talk about, you know, the possible signings and how they can strengthen moving forward and for the next season, I think Pum's asked a good question. But will Bielsa even stay at the end of the season? Because his contract does expire, and we know the conversations, or he likes having these conversations at the end of the season. And now there's this, it's all up in the air, where they are making contingency plans in case he does choose not to renew the contract. So what's your overall feeling with that, Darren?
Look, Bielsa's from day one, he's always signed a 1-year rolling contract. He's never ever signed a long-term contract with us. So I think, look, there's things going around at the moment because he's saying, look, if the club do want a long-term commitment from me or answer from me, he will provide one if they do push him for one. But I think, you know, Leeds don't want to put him in that position whereby he might be like, okay, well, no, you know what, I actually want to leave. But when it comes to Bielsa leaving, where else is he going to go? Because the thing is, he's not going to go to another Prem club. He's a football romantic. He won't go to any of the massive clubs. You look at the past clubs that he's been to, like Marseille. I think Marseille he was at, and Athletic Bilbao and all those type of clubs. He was at Lazio for 3 days before he left.
Great innings there.
Yeah. But I mean, all those clubs, they're not massive clubs. They're decent clubs in their own right. Very similar to Leeds in that regard. Like I've always thought that Leeds is a massive club. But the thing is, we're not a Manchester United or a Chelsea, anything like that yet. But I think that's what made him fall in love with Leeds, and yeah, long may it last, and hopefully he stays.
The interesting thing when you say you're not a big club and so on, you know I look at the other guy who's on the show who's a Newcastle supporter. You're doing much better than Newcastle.
Listen, we are
Newcastle are the biggest club. Am I right?
The biggest club.
We are
the biggest club in the north. The biggest club in the north.
No,
struggling.
Leeds, look, Leeds are a massive club in their own right. If you actually think 100%. About it, if you look at English history and within the football clubs and stuff, they are a massive club. And when I started supporting Leeds, I mean, it was basically around 97, 98 when they made Lucas captain, Lucas Rodebe, obviously. And and back in those days, we were a top 4 club. You know, we made 2000,
Harry Kuehl, Mark Viduka.
Mark Viduka, yeah.
Hey, there's some players there, man.
That was a good team.
And we made the semi-finals of the Champions League in 2001. You know, so before everything capitulated and we went into administration and all those type of things. So I mean, in our own right, we've always been a massive club, and people have been waiting 16 years for us to come back. And I think we've come back with a storm, to be honest. I don't think anyone expected us to be in the top 10 with 7 games left to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially just 4 points from the top 4 as well, with the style of football that you guys have been able to continue into the Premier League, which is very, very impressive for a team that's just come into it.
So
I agree with Nico there. I agree with Majeki there.
No, but the question is, Nico says early days. He says early days. How far early are we going? 1900, early 1900.
When Premier League started.
Darren will remember this.
When guys weren't wearing soccer boots.
Darren, you were talking about when you guys were in the Champions League top 4. If you remember, Newcastle were in that top 4 with you guys for majority of that period in the early 2000s.
I think
a little Liverpool, aside from Merseyside, used to finish like 6th, 5th or 6th in the early 2000s, around about there. When we were going to. Yeah, it is about being consistent. So you've got two consistently big clubs here. Oh wait, 2 consistently inconsistent big clubs. English is
even the English is failing you, Nick.
Just come bring it back. If we got to reel this all back into the actual game, and Mark Johnson, thank you for joining us, man. Awesome seeing you. He comments and he says, as an LFC supporter, he was very impressed with the Leeds results. I think we all were, to be fair. And then he goes on to the point that Siddle's already touched on. If you have Dallas in your fantasy team, it's amazing because he plays all the positions and he comes right with the points, which is amazing. Yeah. But one thing I want to talk about is, Nick said, and he's been vocal about this, he's already touched on the fact that, you can't play the way Bielsa plays and get away with it. But as we're looking now, they're mid-table. Out of the last 4 games, they are unbeaten. They've won 3 now in a row, and one of the last ones, obviously, against City. And if they weren't still attacking sort of mind, or if they didn't have the attacking mindset, they don't go on to win that game. At 10 men, they sit and they be defensive.
True.
Man City go and they pick them apart, and that's the end result. So fair play to Bielsa for that, who gave belief to the players to keep going.
No, definitely. I think even that Rafinha chance where Rafinha was 1-on-1 with the keeper, that is the mentality of, if you get a break, go for it. You know what I mean? Try sneak a goal. You know what I mean? It's not like, I have to use your example. Sorry, Newcastle. Newcastle at the Etihad, they were just two banks of 5, like literally 5-5. That was a formation 5-5, where if someone gets the ball, no one's trying to run, no one's trying to make a run.
Every week,
no one's trying to get over the halfway line. They were just like hoof the ball up front, hoof it to the corners, throw-ins, whatever. They weren't trying to actually score a goal, and that's why you guys obviously never even got a shot on target probably that day.
Yeah,
and listen, what a player! Yeah, what a player he is, by the way, Rafinha. What do you guys think of Rafinha, if I may ask?
He's not going to be at Leeds at the end of the season.
He's a great player. Yeah, he's a great player. He's a great acquisition. I think if you look at the players that you guys signed for, let's say, more than £15 million, I think he's your best signing. Because obviously you signed him, you signed Rodrigo, you signed Koch, you signed who else? Llorente. So you signed those 4 players, and I think Rafinha was the one who obviously has shined the most. And obviously it's quite surprising because not much was said about him. Much more was said about Rodrigo, who's obviously a more experienced player. But he's been hot and cold. But Rafinha, star player. I think I would take him on my right wing any day.
Yeah, no, he's a quality player. And we got him for a snip, 17 million. I mean, that's crazy. But
that's proper. Before we move on to the next game, I just want to comment. We've got Dean Whittaker saying, what is he saying? He's saying it's going to be a big game for Liverpool Leeds this coming weekend. I know we always speak about the upcoming fixtures on pre-match Muti, but Darren, how are you feeling going into this sort of week for preparation for Leeds and the prospect of facing Liverpool?
Yeah, so Dean's actually a Liverpool supporter, funny enough. So basically, before these 3 games came about, I actually thought we'd lose to City. I thought we'd draw to Liverpool, and I thought we'd beat Man United. But it's because we owe Man United one after that 6-2. So I think that was my mindset. But look, I mean, we're obviously going to have confidence going into Monday. Which is also a pity. I was hoping that it would the game would be on a weekend, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. But yeah, I think look, I would be happy with a point, to be honest. I'll take a point now. But yeah, I mean, I think 2 wins in a row, top 10 or top 7 clubs, that'll be amazing. But
so from 1 to 10, Darren, 1 to 10, confidence on your end, where would you rank it
in terms of a win?
Yeah, or a result,
or a draw. A point, I would give confidence about a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
A win, maybe not. Maybe a win, maybe about a 4. If I'm being completely honest with myself.
Come on, you need to have more confidence. You play at Ellen Road. You play at Ellen Road. You play against Liverpool. Liverpool will be licking their wounds. They'll be after getting knocked out of the Champions League. You know what I mean? Come on,
see what happens. United has one good weekend. Yeah, now they're getting larger. Sorry, what do you want to say?
What do you mean one good weekend?
I understand where Darren's coming from. You know, like most teams, the top 4, top 7 teams don't look at a Leeds team as an easy win anymore. They kind of prepare very well for you.
Yeah, true.
They kind of get themselves stocked and ready to actually fire on all cylinders. They don't rest players for Leeds a game, and that makes it a good problem to have as a Leeds team to come into this Premier League and then have that type of aura about how you guys carry yourselves on the field, which is it's tricky. Yeah, it's a test for your players, but at least it's a better test than having them fight with next team at the bottom.
Yeah. Take it easy, guys. Take it. Listen.
If next team's playing, you can give guys that are rusty, that haven't had match fitness. You can try out new combinations.
Let's talk about the new combination.
Nick, we're just having a go at you only because we think you're gonna survive. That's the only reason we're at you. Previous shows we're feeling sorry for you, pity. Now you're gonna survive. Now we have to go at you because you're one of us. You're not a guy who's going to be in Sky Bet Championship anymore. So we have to.
Everyone did get very PC when they were thinking, oh wait, the prophet of doom is you're speaking the truth, and I think everyone started taking off the handbrake a little bit now that you guys are doing a bit better. Musa, enough of Newcastle. Their time is coming. Crystal Palace, this result for Chelsea. I mean, this is a big result. Liverpool have just they get the win. And they move forward for this Champions League position. Now we know this top four spot it's going to be hot. It's going to be a hot race to the end. And Chelsea didn't just come and get the 3 points. They absolutely ripped Crystal Palace apart. And he's played, what's his name up front? The new boy, the German boy. What's his name again? Havertz. And he didn't just have a good game. He had a phenomenal game.
I wouldn't call him that new anymore. He's been there for a while now. It's just
we haven't seen him.
we haven't seen him in this kind of form, where he looks like the product that we had purchased last season, and he looks like he's got the touch and the sharpness back. It looks like he's opening up more plays. I think he's happy in the position that he's playing as well now, where he can actually go out and lead the attack with the likes of Pulisic around him, and it's exciting for me to see combinations like that coming in the field. I think we've given players like Werner too much of an opportunity to get his goals and his goal scoring form right. And now that we are so close to the end, it's good to see the depth of the squad. I was thinking about the depth of the squad last week in the EPL, where I saw Thiago Silva coming on back into the squad and thinking our depth is really good, but then it fell apart very quickly as we started the game. And now seeing this kind of rotation happen in the squad and seeing it come and work well is very exciting for me, I think, as a Chelsea fan. Knowing that we've got likes of Ziyech and Werner who can still also come in and try and create some more for the team.
Yeah, but Musa, what do you think the secret was for Saturday? Because, I mean, Havertz, all of a sudden, that one touch that he had, he didn't score the goal, but it was absolutely brilliant. That final third, he flicks the ball over the man's head and has the shot. And then you've got Christian Pulisic, who, in my opinion, I'm a huge admirer of the guy. And for some reason, another player that we haven't seen too much of this season, but the two of them are on the field and the two of them were absolutely rocking. So what do you think in terms of moving forward for Tuchel now? I mean, he's lucky he's got these players in disposal. And I think we've said it time and time again in terms of, if we're talking about second best squad in the league, Chelsea is definitely up there with the second best squad in the league. I mean, you got to be excited. You got to be looking at the top 4 chances and going, regardless of what happens tonight for the Champions League, we're banking on that top 4 position.
Whew, I wish I could say that. It's the points that we dropped the week before affect us severely. Like I look at the squad and think we are very, very talented in the players that we have in all the positions, but sometimes we draw a little bit too many times. And sometimes we have that blip where we lose a game. It's fair to lose a game, but I wish we could just go on to win a few more of the games that have come our way so that we could protect ourselves. At this point in time, everybody's in it. I think from the top 4, Man City and Man United are probably the safest at this point in time. The rest, it's all a scrap.
You just say probably. Man City, Man United are probably. I think they are, man. I think it's a set in stone. Man City going to win the league.
This guy
Man United are fighting.
This guy said,
fighting for what?
Fighting for
Man
league.
United are fighting for nothing.
Not for the league. For top 4.
We sorted. Man United, Man City are sorted in the top 2.
Maybe like you guys are 9 points from the rest of us, but the rest of us.
I thought you wanted to give this guy confidence about the league. He's got no chance.
No.
I'm talking top 4. Yeah.
I'm secured. Me and Man City are secured in the top 4. We are secured. We are sharp.
Yeah.
We are secured.
That's what I meant. That you guys as the 2 Manchester teams are.
You just used the wrong.
Yeah, you guys are probably the safest teams to compete for top 4.
They are the safest. They're in there. Man
You
United.
never know with Man United, champ. Like I feel like I've seen a lot of good character from Man United come through this season, but it's still so tight and so busy. The 3 behind Man United can all go and compete against Man United, and that's what
Do you think there's a chance of that happening?
So you saw
it's 7 more games.
Saw our performance. You saw our performance this weekend, and you're like, these guys are not going to make top 4. Come on, man.
Probably,
Come
guys.
on.
It's the same word.
Probably.
So, you guys are doing well. Ole out. You guys, I have to give you respect. This is the same Tottenham that you had played earlier in the season, and you completely capitulated as soon as they started getting their goals in. This season, this time around, your character is a lot stronger to get the result. But there's that big but. You're still within reach of the teams below you. It's 7 games left. If you flunk 3 of them, then it's quite. But
don't forget, you guys. No team below us is guaranteed to win all their games. That I can assure you. All the teams below us will not win all their games. I can assure you. And Chelsea can exactly. Leicester lost. You know what I mean? Chelsea can lose to West Brom, and what's his and Leicester can lose. Bruh, anyone can lose in the Premier League, man. But Man United do not lose away from home. That's what I'm telling you. Do not lose away from home. At home, you can beat us, but away from home, we've never lost. So we still have to go
and also on that point, though, Celo, on that point, I think Man United are close to breaking the record for the most consecutive away wins. I think currently they're sitting on 23, which is also something completely going under the radar. No one's talking about it. But I think he's like 3 or 4 games away from the record of having the most consecutive away wins, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he feeds his children at night, apparently, and doesn't feed the ones that dive, allegedly. But I do want to say that...
I wouldn't feed the ones that dive as well.
And his son, you see his son's come out backing him now. His son says, my father does feed me.
His I think his son is like 17 or something. Yeah, he dissed him.
But Mosa, Pumalani's come out saying, Kurt Zuma is a problem for the Chelsea team. And I found it very interesting that he finally scored a goal from a set piece over the weekend. It was one of those where I was like, hey, he finished like Mosa and not like Nicholas Killis. I thought that was an interesting sort of scenario. So I want to ask you though, Kurt Zuma, is that still a frailty when, Celo's talking about inconsistencies and teams dropping points? Do you still think there's an issue at the back for Chelsea towards the run, this run-in in the final end of the season?
Yeah, there is an issue, Rudiger has done well every time he's come on. He's showed the reason why he wanted Lampard out, because he felt like he wasn't getting a fair opportunity. But the other defenders that were there was Kurt Zuma and Thiago Silva, and they are international defenders in their own right. They've done very well for club and country before, and it's easy to understand why a manager would give them confidence to actually go out and perform. I think the loss against West Brom, we got to take that with a pinch of salt. It's like we did lose 5-2, but before that we had only conceded 2 goals in like 12 games. So there were frailties at the back before Tuchel came in. He changed the system and he closed up a lot of those frailties whilst he was giving different defenders a chance. The players who did fall away was Kurt Zuma, and Thiago Silva got injured. And to see him come back on this past weekend and come back with a goal, I'm sure it must be, creating a lot of confidence for him as a player, and also giving the players around him a little bit more comfort to know he's in the squad. That's my thoughts on it, though, because, that backline, there've been a couple of changes in that backline, and it's been for the better.
Can I just correct Nico there, bruh? I said that Man United have never lost away from home. We are on a 24-game unbeaten record away from home, carrying over from last season. What can we say? The team doesn't want to lose it away from home. And we win or we draw. We don't lose. We haven't lost. We went to Anfield. We went to Stamford Bridge. We went to Etihad. We went to St. James's, the Fortress, St. James's Park. So we've been to most stadiums. We just need to go to Ellen Road. We still need to just go to Ellen Road. And then what else? I can't even think of another team that we still need to go away. Oh, look, I don't know.
Stop eating. This is focus for Chelsea. Your time is coming. I don't understand.
Man.
You had a great weekend. We know.
Imagine if fucking United was to get top of the log.
But
Nico's man. I'm telling
Nico's saying something. I'm addressing a comment. He said something. I'm just trying to comment.
No, it's fine. Nico, keep those comments coming. It keeps Selo on his toes. He doesn't like being ruffled a little bit. Before we move on, last thing about Chelsea.
Carry on, Nico.
Final thoughts for this Champions League game tonight.
I'm super excited. It is the Champions League. It's the best teams in Europe. Porto has a lot of character in their squad. Players who can bring it on the night, but I'm super excited of the way we're going into this game. We got a 2-0 result the first leg. If we show the same intensity and the same quality that we had over the weekend, I think we should be safe and then looking on towards is it Real Madrid afterwards, which is also exciting.
Hey, it's Real Madrid or Liverpool. It's not over yet. Listen to this
guy. I think it's Real Madrid. I think they said it's Real Madrid.
They already penciled it in.
Wow. It's penciled in, my man.
It's Real Madrid.
So man, I'm excited.
So you're writing off. I think Tuchel came out saying after the last game, saying Porto is an emotional side, and what I like about a cup or a tournament that involves a cup is it's about the emotion, the feeling of it. If you get it right, and if everything just aligns at the moment in time. So despite the fact. I think the one thing that works in both their advantages or in Chelsea's advantage is the fact that this home and away tie is completely dead in this scenario because they're playing at the same stadium. So it's a bit weird going into this game going, they've got an away goal, we don't because we're playing at the same venue. But Porto do welcome back the talisman tonight. They played in... Where did they play?
Seville. They're playing Seville.
And I think the last round we played in Portugal, if I'm not mistaken, both legs.
Yeah, but I can't agree with this, Nico. Chelsea aren't going to the final. Let's take it easy, man. Come on now. What is this?
Nico, you're right, sir.
My team is a Chelsea fan, right?
Yes,
he's a Chelsea
fan. You know your stuff, sir.
All right, enough of this Chelsea focus.
No, but let's be fair, man. I think...
But Claudio, if you're allowed to dream, Musa's allowed to dream, bro. Don't kill a man's dream, bro.
And your dreams are very big, so my dreams are fair. Because we're going into
this. Big dreams are still more probable because we've got 5 Champions League trophies under our name. There's history there. That backs up the dream.
Come on,
the dream isn't just make up there. No.
Nick,
let's talk about
Go for it.
We're gonna talk about history. We're gonna talk about history now.
Give us a history lesson now.
When I saw the lineup to this, the man, it's interesting. This is the Premier League where it's the most watched league in the world, and you got Steve Bruce. In the little picture, where they show the lineup, you've got 5 defenders lined up with 2 strikers and 3 in the mid. And when I saw this, I was laughing my head off. I was like, only Steve Bruce would do this and say, I'm somewhat being attacked with 2 guys up front. But hey, Nick, now's your time. Let's talk about history and history from this weekend.
Listen, the man is still a donkey. He's absolutely clueless. And to be fair, one player sort of got him out of jail. at the end of it. The quality of sort of Wilson didn't really show, but the quality of the one man, Saint Maximin, the main man of the weekend in the Premier League, team of the weekend. Let's all give him that, because those small wins for my team, making the Premier 11 for the weekend. But he was the difference. We were very poor in the first half. Looked like we were going nowhere. VAR did kill us a little bit. We should have had a penalty. I think we can talk about that. But Saint Maximin comes on and he gives us that little bit of edge. He's got a bit of he's got quick feet. He's got some creative brains behind him. And where Jolinton offers us nothing and Dwight Gale offers us nothing, he gets into the box. He had a 30-second impact, pulls the ball back for Jacob Murphy, and we're back in the game. And then obviously that goal, I think it's fantastic. Probably poor defending, but he still had to run from within pretty much his own half all the way to the box and sort of take on Tarkowski and sort of knock it into the bottom corner. So that was the sort of cherry on the top for him actually coming in. And from what I understand is he had to actually ask Bruce to come on the field. When he spoke.
Saint Maximin had to ask him.
But why didn't he start? Is he meant to be injured or what?
So, why didn't they start him? They're both coming back from injury. So Alan Shearer said it perfectly. He's like, if two of your best players are sitting on the bench and they are fit enough to be on the bench, they are fit enough to play. So it's not like we are 10 points clear from safety. We have Fulham literally down our backs. Now we've got West Brom. You're playing against a Burnley who, if you win, suck them into it. You need to go all out. Fortunately, he brought. I think this was the earliest subs he's made all season, 56th minute. We normally make our subs with 15 minutes to go. But from what I understand and what I heard, Saint Maximin said he told the coach that, please give me a chance and show me what I can do and let me prove myself. And then obviously he didn't allude too much to it afterwards, because I think he would have probably got bruised into shit. But most of the plaudits just went to Saint Maximin himself. For me, it's 3 points. It's 3 points. We'll take it. I think we're playing against the West Ham team. It's going to be a tough game. Obviously. But for me, playing at home, we played against Spurs recently and we put on a good performance. If we can start with Wilson, Saint Maximin, and Almiron, I think we've got every chance of at least getting a draw. And you know what? Maybe help you two fight in there for the top four spots.
Yeah, they do need some help, because West Ham.
Us three, Nick.
Us three. Who's the third? Oh, us three. You know what I will say though. What I will say though is I think. Yeah, you're gonna annoy this guy. Listen, Dad, please, you have our permission to please just give Celo the most amount of shit that you want to. You're allowed to do that.
Why, man? Yeah, because I'm Darren's biggest rival in the show. Yeah, I'm Darren's biggest rival in the show. There's no one else who's a bigger rival to him. It just shows the success of my club that Liverpool's my rival, Leeds is my rival, Man City is my rival, Arsenal is my rival. Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it.
That other blue team, I don't know about it. It can never be my rival.
I think the Leeds Man United rivalry is more of a deep hatred for each other in Yorkshire and Lancashire than actual football itself. But
Darren, that's why you're not sitting next to Celo. That's why you're not sitting next to him. Just in case. We weren't sure.
Good, it's a regional.
We weren't sure how it was going to play out.
It's a regional one. It's good, man. But that other blue team that plays at Stamford Bridge, I don't know about it, man. It's just a team.
Okay, Chelsea they've had their moment in the sun. Yeah.
To reel it back in.
Nick, wait. Scott's come out saying, "Come on, Nicholas, come on." He's like, what do you do different then? He says the guy doesn't win. He's a donkey. The guy goes and he wins, and then you're still calling him a donkey. So Scott's not impressed with your treatment of your own manager, Steve Bruce. How do you respond to this?
because and I've said
Yeah,
this before.
I agree, Karen. He's a donkey as well.
And if Scott watched enough, if he watched enough episodes in the last couple of weeks, I would have given him the stats. A manager that has the worst record in Premier League history is him. If you average out all of his clubs, his style of football doesn't change. He's got the same squad plus Wilson, same Maximum and Almiron to what Benitez had. And Benitez consistently finished. We finished 10th and 13th with him. Yes, we finished 13th with Bruce, but we've regressed with better players. So that's why he's a donkey, and he'll remain a donkey. And I hope he leaves at the end of the season. I hope he saves us, but it won't be up to him. It will be up to the players on the pitch.
Look, I think with Newcastle as well. Like personally, I said it on the show on a comment a few weeks ago. But honestly, I would never want Newcastle to go down because they are a big club, and you want the big clubs to be in the Premier League. So, but also at the same time, I know their Newcastle's ownership's been a mess for the last 10 years, whatever the case is. I'm sure Nick will obviously know better than I do, but yeah, you need a clean up from the top, and I don't know if that's going to happen
from the top down.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I agree with you.
Bruce needs to go as well.
No, he does. No, but I'm actually a bit annoyed about that, Scotty. Because what more must he do? He's playing against Burnley. Away from home, yes, to be fair, there's no fans, and he sets up with 5 at the back. And he's made
Burnley look like the flamboyant side in the Premier League. It's crazy.
We've won 2-1 with a moment of magic in 6 minutes by a magician. And now, yes, what more must he do? He must just go play with a bit more intent and play the players that are on his bench.
Burnley looked dangerous that first half, eh?
Because they just bomb the ball into the box there. They look very dangerous from set pieces. But to be fair, we dealt with it and we got the points. But I would just like a manager. You saw the tweet that I posted. Warren Barton from the early 2000s said it straight and literally perfectly. We just want a guy that goes out there every week and tries to win. We won't win every week, but we must at least try. And we're not trying. We just look like we'd sleepwalking into relegation, but fortunately, we might just have enough points to survive.
Yeah. It's crazy when you contrast that against Leeds, like the effort and the approach that the guys come into the game with.
But also, you say you contrast that, Motsa. You say you contrast that, but then there's the man over here, Nick, saying he wasn't in agreement with Bielsa. But there he's going all out attack and he's sitting mid-table, and now he's not happy with these men defending with 5 guys at Turf Moor.
I'm saying defend. Exactly. I'm saying defend when you need to defend. You're going to go play against the City on another day. Yes, it worked this last game, but if you go and you play against City like that again, you might potentially concede 5.
Fair enough.
I'm not saying, like I said earlier, I mean, ultimately, I trust in Bielsa, so whatever he wants to do, I never want him to leave. I don't care if we'll never be in a relegation scrap with him at the helm, but yeah, to be able to push for top 4, I wouldn't say top 6 because we're pretty much pushing for that at the moment. But top 4, we won't be able to get away with that.
Let me give you this comparison. Look at Brighton and how they play. They play in a very similar style, very much attacking. Play out the back. Let's go. Obviously, the quality of the players show through. The quality of the players, Leeds versus Brighton. Look where they are on the table, both teams. So yes, I understand setting up with 5 at the back against Burnley, Claudio. That's what I'm saying. It's not against Man United. It's not against Liverpool. It's against Burnley.
All right. So one more thing about Newcastle, and then we're going to move over to the next topic.
Let's get his starting lineup there. Give us a starting lineup there.
Before we say that, I just want to say we're going to do a little bit of improv here. We're going to do a little bit of improv because Mark Johnson's asked us, who do we think is going to be the Golden Boot winner? We'll get to that after Nick answers this question. Scott's last sort of question for you is like, what would you do different? What shape? Who plays? Who doesn't play?
Yeah,
I'm not going to go with the starting lineup because players can slot in there, but we played with a diamond with 4 at the back and a diamond and 2 up top. We went to Everton and we completely outplayed them. I'm not necessarily saying we got to play in a certain way, but if you're going to play with 5 at the back, I'd like to think, in Chelsea play with 5 at the back, it's actually 3 at the back, and you've got sort of overload on the wide area. We sit with 5. Well, what are you going to do against Burnley?
Legit 5. It's like when you see the 5, they're going to be 5.
They're going to be 5. You can draw that VAR line and just find 5 people.
So, I don't know. But anyway, what can you do? I would just like to, whether he plays with 3 or 5 or 4 at the back, there needs to be an end product and not just sit in and kick the ball to Jolinton and hope that he can hold the ball up, because he's got the touch of an absolute elephant.
All right, and there you have it. That's Nick's overall opinion and final thoughts there. Touch of an elephant. Now, let's talk about the players that more delicate touches, so to speak. Like I said, Mark Johnson's posed the question, and we're going to answer it. Who do we think is going to be this season's Golden Boot winner? We're going to start with Darren, and then we're going to make our way through to Musa, Nick, Selo, and then I'm going to give my opinion there. Let's have it there, Darren.
So I saw the list today, I think. I think top scorer is Kane on 19 and
Salah.
And Salah on 19, and then it goes Fernandes, then Bamford. So obviously I would love Bamford to be up there, but I think he will probably end around 3rd. But yeah, I think depending on how Liverpool end the season in terms of if they go on a bit of a run, I think Salah could still be up there and get the Golden Boot. But I think, so between Salah and Kane, I'm hoping Bamford, but I think 5 goals off is a bit too far behind, if I'm being completely honest.
Too far with so few games going, huh?
Yeah, exactly. But he's done amazingly, to be fair. So, yeah.
That even being contention, I remember at some point during the course of the season, he was actually like number 2, very close to the top. That's very, very good. And it shows the spirit and the attacking focus that Bielsa brings to the club and gives the confidence in the strikers, I suppose.
Yeah.
For me, I know Salah is up there. Liverpool have done well over the previous seasons, but this season I don't see them being as attacking as they could be. And Harry Kane has been doing a lot in terms of carrying his team, whether from like a
spinning too much.
Yeah, maybe doing a little bit too much to an extent, because he sometimes comes into that number 10 role, then moves into the number 9 role, which is a lot for a player of his striking prowess, but he has managed to do it, and to rule him out would be difficult in my case. So I think I'd go for Harry Kane in that regard.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's interesting is if Man United get more penalties, all
the penalties go to Leicester City, brother. You know that actually Man United are number 4 on penalties this season. Chelsea, Leicester, and I think Man City above us.
But you get all the VAR decisions. You guys.
This is a soft spot for Selo. Remember, he was convinced that the media were chowing that they weren't getting penalties because the media was chowing United. This is soft.
Nick, what do you mean you get all the VAR
decisions? VAR is the media.
Have you seen the VAR decisions?
And then he said it was goal last year. He said we must stop talking like that on the show.
Do you know the VAR decisions against us?
Darren, it's nice. Yeah, I just cast my reel across the screen. And Selo just bites, and then I just reel him in. But for me,
you know the truth.
For me, it has to be Harry Kane. I think he's going to score. He's going to score a few more goals going into the Euros. I think he's going to have to hit form or continue his form, and I think he'll run away with it. Probably not. He probably won't run away with it. I think Salah will be close by, but I think the two of them will run away with it and sort of open up a gap.
Yeah, no, I think definitely.
Martial boy.
I think Harry Kane will definitely get it. I think Salah is a weird one, because Salah is the only one in the front 3 of Liverpool, that traditional front 3 that's scoring. And he's quite a selfish player. So I think he will still get a couple of goals. So I think maybe Kane will probably win it by 1 goal. 2 probably not, but not like he won't win it by like 3 goals, because Salah is quite a selfish player. And the games that Liverpool do have, games against West Brom, Palace, Southampton, Leeds, teams that might be leaky in defense. So I think he might still get a couple of goals, but I just feel that Harry Kane is the guy who carries that that Tottenham team. And he's showed it obviously this season, 19 goals, and he was injured for a long time as well. He missed probably like 8 games, I think, where Salah's been available for more games than Kane. So I think Kane.
But maybe Salah's been sulking for 8 games so far this season.
But that's true. So he sulks as well, yeah.
Tottenham would be nearby Newcastle if it wasn't for Kane.
He's doing too much, man. Kane is doing far too much. The man is defending the final ball on the line there. Then he's scoring. Then he's and also we're going to talk about the United Spurs game, but you can't realistically, Selo, you've hit the nail on the head there. Liverpool's running here towards the end. On paper is the better running. Salah, regardless of what happens tomorrow night against Real Madrid, if they get knocked out, and I say if because I'm a Liverpool fan and I'll dream until I die, but if they do get knocked out, Salah's got one thing on his mind. He's going to go out for the Golden Boot. That's all he gives a shit about. And you know what? The best thing about Salah right now is he's not playing well, and he's still scoring goals. He's getting into the right positions. He could have scored early.
He probably has a bonus. He probably has a bonus in his contract about being top scorer even. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised about like a goal scoring. I know Harry Kane does have a goal bonus, in his contract, because obviously Spurs, you can't really earn that much at Spurs. So there's like a goal bonus in his thing where if he scores a certain amount of goals, you get a bonus. So that's how he can maximize his salary at Spurs. But yeah, I agree with my JK. It would be crazy if Timo Werner won it.
Did he say Timo Werner?
It's interesting what you say there about Kane. Kane's got the most goals and most assists in the league.
Yep.
That's
he's doing everything.
So he can win player of the season, not Golden Boot.
Just quickly, what's the number? What's the Golden Boot number going to be?
25.
Well, how many? No, well, we've got 25. What, 7 games to go?
They're 19.
19 at
the moment.
Yeah, I think 25.
Yeah, 25 is realistic.
Max 27. Max 27.
Yeah, fair shot.
If you play against Southampton, if anyone's playing against Southampton, you can bag a couple there.
That's Liverpool. That's Liverpool.
Salah, dude, he's going to be out for blood. I'm telling you. That's my
and Liverpool's playing Newcastle, so.
Hey, we play with 5. 5 in the back there. He's got to get beyond that big spot.
I know it's not on the agenda, but how was West Brom beat them 3-0 yesterday? Keepers.
Oh yeah, you see that is the thing is that Southampton are so open, guys. I remember that game against City when they lost 6-2 or whatever it was. They are so open. They try to be this team that can pass from the back. They think that they can keep the ball at the back and do stupid things, but actually, that coach, he should be coaching a bigger team, right, where they can do these things, but he's coaching a smaller team, so he's trying to implement big team things at a small team. It doesn't work like that. You can't do that. You know what I mean? You need to adjust to the players that you have, and that's why they concede so many goals.
Yeah, true. Just to move on to the game, Liverpool Aston Villa game. This was an interesting one. This was close to going the other way yet again at Anfield. And in the end, the player who wasn't selected for England rolled up his sleeves and showed the manager who was watching in the stand there, Gareth Southgate, how big he showed them how big his balls really are in the 90th minute. So that was delightful. I mean, it was delightful. We know as Liverpool fans, he's got a great set. But, the defending thing is the big issue. And in this game, it was interesting. It was one-sided. It was what it was. Liverpool were pushing forward. We equalized before halftime. VAR come out with that bullshit technical 1 centimeter, millimeter nonsense yet again against Liverpool. I think that's the 11th or 12th situation throughout the season. Yeah, Microsoft Paint.
Did you see? You couldn't even see where the ball was getting kicked from, and they were running it as offside by a millimeter or whatever centimeter that they figured.
Yeah, I know it's rubbish, man.
It's shocking.
And the worst part about
that, they make decisions like that.
Have you guys seen those lines? How thick they are, though. It's ridiculous. If they just drew the lines thinner like it should be, then it wouldn't actually be offside. It's crazy how they work
True.
it. So they need to tweak that.
But I'm also convinced though
They
he's not
definitely have to tweak it.
marking this up correctly. What if he's not using the proper mouse, or his mouse is out of sync? Then all of a sudden you are. No, I know you're joking. I know you're laughing at me, but when I design, let me give you the thing.
When it's VAR against Liverpool, it must be the mouse.
No. I'm saying for everyone now. I'm saying for everyone. But what I'm saying is when I'm designing and it's pixel perfect. Yeah, but when it's pixel perfect, I can even be out sometimes just because of if I've selected an area, then it jumps out. Now you telling me a guy who's selecting this thing like this isn't going to be out. And now you mentioned me.
And he's a referee.
And he's a referee. He's not even a pro. Yeah.
Yeah, and he can't read perspective. He can't read perspective, so he's waiting for this thing to tell him how much the guy's out or not out. And I saw where he drew the line. I was like, this guy looks more offside, more onside than what the defender looks like, but yet somehow because of the sleeve of his shirt, and you can't see the ball anyway. Irrelevant sort of discussion. They hit us on the counter attack. We know that's sort of where Liverpool they broke through the lines. Our two centre mids get sucked in, and then the same thing happens with our centre backs. And Watkins, who's had a hell of a season, talk about golden boot. Obviously, he's not there in that sort of conversation, but he's been clinical for Aston Villa. And then they gave us a hard time, but decent sort of side on the counter attack. There are a lot of comments coming in, are there? What's going on here? VAR, so much doubt.
Hey, wait,
Scott and Marcus, are you reunited yet again? Yeah.
Hey, I like the fact that do you see what Scott did there? Scott put one of Nick's players there. Is it the Nick's player there?
It's a bit tough.
Is he one of your players?
There's one of your players there.
He's spying on me.
Because when I Google the guy, it says he's a Tux player.
No, man, he used to play for Tux.
Oh, okay. So he's not one of your players now.
Cats. You'll know him, Musa. No, he's not one of my players now. He actually moved to TNT.
I remember Cats playing. Yeah, centre mid. No, was he playing striker?
Yeah, he moved to the arch rival there. No, he moved to TNT recently. Yeah.
But Claudio,
so he's gonna score against you.
so Claudio, how do you feel going into tomorrow's game? You know, I think obviously it's a confidence boost. Last minute winner, Anfield is like, I think someone was saying that those were your first two open play goals this season. This calendar year at Anfield,
2021,
the 2021. So doesn't that give you confidence going into tomorrow's game against Madrid?
Well, yeah, man. I feel like if there was a time for them to do it, it had to be Saturday. If they didn't get that result on Saturday, tomorrow's game is a complete walkover. It's one of those scenarios. I think they had the moments. The two moments in which they scored were the moments of Liverpool of old, which is fantastic. So that was exciting. And I think also when we're looking deeper into it, they showed character and they showed some fight. And I think that was important. So for tomorrow's sort of scenario, the only thing that is dangerous and makes me chacharach is that when I'm thinking about all of this and I go, how did Real Madrid set up against Barcelona on the weekend? How did they set up against us? They set up defensively and they hit us on the counter. And now they're not going to do anything different tomorrow. They're going to do exactly the same thing, and they're going to wait for their moments. The difference is we've had shit teams like Newcastle scoring against us on the counter, so why can't a team like Real Madrid hurt us? So tomorrow the boys are going to have to be 100% on it, and that's the only thing. Yeah. Not saying it's impossible for them, but if there's one game all season that they're going to have to be switched on for, it's going to be tomorrow. And
the sad part is I don't think that you guys can keep a clean sheet. So you guys can win 2-1, for instance, right? But you need to win 2-0. And that's it, and that's the tricky part. I think someone said it last week. Is that
Yeah, sorry. I just want to.
Machete says you all used to play for Tax. That's fair.
He's right. Darren wanted to say something. Darren was.
So I think if it was a full Anfield tomorrow, different story. I think. Then a definite comeback on the cards. But the stadium being empty, it must be eerie, you know. So, I don't rate that they can come back. Look, I hope so. To be honest,
good redemption there, Darren. I mean, you do want to come back on the show. I think say the right things, yeah.
Okay, Darren, I'll send you the link.
No, don't say it, Darren. Just be truthful, sir. Don't go there.
I'd rather English club go to semis than Real Madrid, to be fair. I'll say that.
Okay.
Chelsea will do it for us, Trent. Don't worry about it.
He'll do it for us.
All right, guys, we're gonna speak. Yeah. Go ahead, there, Mosa. Yeah,
I was about to say, like, if you're going to go to Anfield in like the last year, you're going to be worried that you're going to have to break down a fortress. Now, it's exciting to go there because there is an opportunity to get something from the game. And
of course,
Real Madrid, a team that travels
two
well.
babies. We've got babies playing at the back there that I think are younger than Richard. So, what do you want? It's one of those things. All right, guys. Now we're going to touch on this quickly, only because it's still in the conversation for the top 4 battle. And we've got West Ham 3, Leicester 2. And I think someone here on the show keeps saying Leicester like choking. And it's pretty much in that time. Yep. Well, I knew you were going to say that. I kind of lined you. I set you up to play me. So well done.
You should have done this. You should have pointed this way next time.
You cast the reel there. You always bite. Claudia,
I love it. He's the big tuner on the show.
Hey man, listen, man. I say big facts. So I said it, and I remember.
You did?
Who was the guy? What's his name? That show, man. Was it? Is it like Nikhil or who's it? Claudia? There's a guy, man, who used to comment, man. I think he was an Arsenal fan or a Man United fan. He used to say that, no, man, Leicester's going to make it this season. I said no because I felt that they choked last season, and I felt that Brendan Rodgers is a choker. That's what I felt. I felt that because
parental guidance is advice for the show. But yeah, sorry.
Come on, man. Come on. The Proteas are chokers. Come on, man. So I always felt that Brendan Rodgers, he messed up at Liverpool when he should have won the league title, and then last season he had a 7-point gap on Man United, I think it was, or 9-point gap on Man United, and we clawed that back in terms of, like, I think in a six game stretch. Now, Leicester used to be closer to Man United. Now they're closer to the other teams than what they are to Man United. You know what I mean? So now it's West Ham is a point behind. Come on.
But guys, also, I mean, in this game against West Ham, they had 3 of their starting 11 suspended because they broke COVID rules. So I don't know how much you point the finger to Brendan Rodgers. Madison wasn't there. Also, so Madison's completely killed any England prospects in this sort of instance. Oak's broken COVID. There was the other, I forgot the other 2 players.
Jose Perez made in Newcastle United.
Yep. Yeah, there we go. That's why disobedience.
And who else? And who's the third one? Who's the third first?
The other one's the centre mid with the afro.
Chowdhury.
Yeah,
Nah, come on, Chowdhury doesn't start, man. Ndidi and Tielemans start, so that doesn't really impact.
But I think there is some backroom problems there, if from what I've heard. On
fair.
It
Seems like they are then, I guess. But I feel that Leicester, man, they're just messing it up for themselves. I'm just trying to look at their fixtures now. They've got the semi-final for the FA Cup this weekend. Okay, cool. Then they've got West Brom, Palace, Southampton, Newcastle, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham. The last 3 games, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham, guys. Come on, that is tricky. That is tricky. And then West. If you look at come on, man, guys. I think
there's no ways.
Yeah.
I think Newcastle is going to finish ahead of them.
Nah. Coming onto the show.
What insightful thoughts.
Now, you know what? He keeps bashing Wonga for saying Wonga's being wishful. He's hoping for what would happen instead of what will happen. That's Nick. Nick's taking Wonga's. He's the roll on there. But okay, let's focus on the prospects in West Ham for the scenario. So West Ham get the 3 points. Huge 3 points considering Chelsea win, Liverpool win. Now, West Ham are still in the run. They're 1 point behind Leicester. We all kind of saying there's going to be a bit of a slide here. But West Ham sort of, I don't know, prediction towards the end here, guys. Can they do it?
They put themselves in there.
There has to be a slide.
For me, playing them next week, I'm not. So, like, it's a hit and miss for us this weekend, because we are expected to lose. But they've proven also to concede a lot of goals. And I think they can be there for the taking. They score a lot, but they also concede. They're very open at times as well. And I think Richard has said it many times. They ride in the wave as far as the wave will take them. And if they get to Champions League, that is a bonus. If they finish in the top 6, it's a great season. If they finish in the top 7, it's a great season. Where did they finish last season? 17th?
Yeah,
they just made.
Just made it. Yeah.
I agree.
Is that the same
Darren,
Richard that says it's going to be the best team in Europe next year?
Hey, that man. That's why he's not on the show yet, because he knows. But I agree. But I do think, momentum very well could take them into it because there are so few games. I think if this was happening sort of maybe with 15 games to go, it might disappear. It could literally swing both ways. They could continue, or they could end up maybe having a little bit of a poor run towards the end. But who's going to stop them now? Only Newcastle United this weekend.
And next week,
it depends on their running, I think.
I'm looking at the running now, guys, and I think their only big match I think is against Chelsea next weekend. Let me say Newcastle, because Newcastle relegation and Brighton. Those are two relegation teams, but they got Southampton, guys. If you got Southampton in your running, that's 3 points.
Yeah. They're on holiday already, though.
Exactly. They're already thinking about what they're going to be doing in June.
But guys, what a story for West Ham to be in the Champions League. That would be epic.
Would be
not for me. Liverpool top 4 and I'm happy with that.
I second that clause. Not for me too, man.
Right. The one we got to talk about, the big one for the weekend. Why? Because goal difference doesn't count in the Premier League. Who cares what Matt was saying last weekend?
Yeah.
We're looking. Spurs 1, Man United 3. Spurs take the lead, have a lot more of the ball, go into the defensive nutshell that they do, and they completely don't know what to do after that. Celo, the floor is yours.
I think the first thing to ask, guys, is what do you guys think about the disallowed goal? Do you guys think it's a foul or not?
Absolutely.
Ridiculous. I've never seen that in my life. You just moving. It's a movement. It's not like an elbow or a clenched fist. You know what I mean? You're just moving, and then Son, just falls to the ground.
Let me put it this way. If the ref blew it, If the ref,
it's cool. If he blows it, if he blows it, it's okay.
Turn that over.
If he
100%.
blows it, if he blows it, cool. You've blown. You know what I mean? You've seen seen a hand. You don't know how the impact was on the hand. I remember, so you don't know how the impact of the hand was on the face. You blow whatever. You just see the guys falling down. Sharp, cool. But now VAR says, look at it, and then he looks at it, and then he decides that it's a foul. It's ridiculous, man. I think the game's gone soft.
I agree.
The game has gone soft. The game definitely. It's a soft game.
So can I make a comparison? Can I make a comparison, Celo? Look how Sean Longstaff gets absolutely kicked in the head. And then Son goes down for a flick in the face.
I wanted to tweet.
One gets called for a foul, and the other one gets told no, it's not a foul.
Yeah, the foot was here. Tarkowski's foot was right here, and Longstaff just literally was about to touch the ball, and then Longstaff somehow, I don't even know how he didn't kick him. He kicked the ball, but he still missed him. I don't know how he missed him.
No, he kicked his head. He kicked his head. You hear him screaming. You actually hear him screaming.
Oh, yeah,
on Sky Sports, you can hear him too. He gets connected. But and I'm going to go back to another instance with VAR where last night West Brom was a goal conceded. The reason from the VAR room was, I don't know if you guys saw it, was they couldn't determine if the player was offside or not because the angle that the camera was looking at, the VAR angle, was being blocked by another West Brom player. So the on-field decision had to stand, but you can clearly see that the man is miles onside. So if West Brom went down because they lost that game and they didn't score the first goal, go and re-look at it. It's unreal. I think there were 4 or 5 decisions this weekend, VAR-wise, where they absolutely cocked it up.
Oh man, it's ridiculous, guys. But I think then we conceded the goal. But
I just want to touch on what Darren said with regards to the hand and the VAR thing. And I mean, we've seen fouls given for that, okay? And that's without VAR. We've seen the fouls sort of given.
The
biggest issue I think that we can all agree on is the fact that there's like 3 or 4 phases after that. So if it's given there and then fine. But the game is continued because the ref didn't think it was a foul. Now, so for VAR to say, go back, check it. And I think it was also mentioned that the guy in the VAR sort of room or whatever wasn't experienced because he was learning the trade. So he wasn't saying, go make the decision. He was just saying, go have a look. So it's one of those interesting sort of scenarios where you go, okay, in football, we've kind of accepted the fact that these soft sort of fouls are given in live sort of play, but don't use VAR now to rule over a result because of that. Yeah, you can't do that. And, going back to the getting kicked in the head thing is very interesting for me. And this is how VAR supports the notion of getting kicked in the head is okay. Because, one, if we are actually analyzing the scenario, in lifetime, he gets kicked in the head. He gets kicked in the head. Why? Because the player is he's braver in the scenario, and he knows what he's doing when he sticks his head there. He knows there's a chance of getting kicked in the head, and he's gambled on that because at that moment in time, Newcastle are absolutely desperate. So he puts his head in there and he gets kicked in the head. Now we go back to VAR. So that's a foul. Done. It's a foul. It gets kicked in the head. It would be a foul anywhere else on the pitch.
Yeah.
Now go back in VAR. Ref doesn't give it. Now what you're seeing the players actually following the ball. So he has no idea where the man is, and he's clearing the ball. And then the player sticks his head in, and that's what saves him at the end of the day and why it isn't given. So it's one of those scenarios where how much of it where should we be using VAR? Where should VAR not be used? And also, how are we using the technology? Are we using the technology the right way? It should be used. Like, there are all these factors, and I understand it. I mean, I understand you're going to have to curb it, you're going to have to learn it and everything else, but right now, they're just not getting it right. Anyway, as you were there.
They showed the replay for what's his Chris Kavanagh, where the flick. So they don't show the part where Son is trying to grab on McTominay. So they don't show why McTominay put his arm up, because obviously Son was trying to. Son was trying to grab him, and he was trying to grab him. So he's trying to just say, "Hey, don't grab me," type of thing. So they don't show that part to the ref. They don't show the flick. And obviously the ref just sees a flick and he's going to say it's a foul, where he doesn't look at actually what's happening in the moment. But yeah, it happened. I was distraught. I was angry. Wanted to throw my phone, and like as soon as Son scored, because like the bloody guy who fell on the ground just scored a goal. But I was like, okay, it's okay. Let's see what happens. My team, they've shown in the past that we can come back from anything, and especially it's Spurs. Soft team, as Roy Keane says, soft underbelly. A team like that, they're not gonna.
But that's not even a joke. I know Moss is laughing, but it's the fact.
It's true.
It's why winning teams can't get
over the line. I'm thinking the first leg of the season, they never looked that soft in the underbelly. Man United.
Something happened.
Something happened.
United got a red
character
in that game.
Yeah,
true.
And this time around, I'm giving United a lot more character. I've seen a lot more BMT from a lot more of the United players when they are up against the ropes. As the season has progressed, the guys have come to the party well, and that's why, like, I have to credit you guys. You do look like that top 4 team.
Yeah, that was hard for Mosa. That was hard for Mosa.
It was hard.
We've got to say that Ole is getting these red boys, he's getting them up for the big games. Apart from being a pure tactician and all of that, they're showing up for these games. They're showing more character against the bigger sides than what their opponents are showing. So credit there.
But what we want as a fan base, right, is that we want the second half performance to be the performance that we start the game with. You know what I mean? Cool, granted, yes, we did get the goal that got disallowed, but also we want to, Ole says something where at halftime or at the end of the game says, I wanted the guys to play with a bit more tempo, a bit faster, to make the passes faster. Why don't they play with the passes? Why don't they make the passes faster? You know what I mean? That's the question. And also
the amount of times you guys have had to come back this season is also
exactly. We've I think they said 28 points. We've gotten from a losing position. The next best in Europe and the whole of Europe is Bayern Munich at 22 points. We had 28 points from losing position, which is not sustainable. It's not sustainable because what does happen sometimes is that you then do get back to 1-1. And then for some reason, then it just ends at 1-1. You know what I mean? Against West Brom, for instance, it became 1-1, and that was the game. So we need to be the team that is leading, that is dominating games. You know what I mean? So, but the character of the team is amazing. I applaud them. Great performance all round. Everyone performed quite well. Fred even got a goal. Cavani was a menace up front. But I just felt that Rashford should have been. Rashford's not 100% fit, man, and I feel sorry. I feel sorry at the situation because he wants to play, and Solskjaer's like, I think he knows his body, he can play, but then also rather put him on the bench and have Greenwood on, And then, if need be, Rashford can come on for the last 30 minutes if need be. Because Rashford right now is playing with an injury. He's playing with a back injury, playing with an ankle injury. It's not good. I hope he rests him on Thursday and doesn't start him against Granada in the second leg. And then, yeah, Paul Pogba, we're just hoping that we can keep him. He just proves, you know.
So, Steve, I was going to say I've got two questions for you.
Man United dropped off and fell away when Pogba got injured. That's where the gap increased between us and City. When Pogba was still in the team, we were probably 3 points from City, 3 or 4 points from City, and then Pogba got injured, I think, in the Arsenal game. So from there on, that's when the gap just grew because Pogba wasn't available. Now all the pressure's on Bruno Fernandes to create chances, and there's no Pogba to ease that pressure off Bruno. Because when Bruno's playing with Pogba can be the guy who's the creator, and that's what Pogba was. Pogba was the guy who was trying to create the most chances on the weekend. And he created a chance that was disallowed, and then he created the chance for Greenwood as well. So he had a great game.
Did you take Lingard back?
Nah. Let's
He's
make
going
some
to Madrid.
money.
You can't take him back. He's going to.
Let's make some money. Let's make some money. Let's try and be a proper football club for once in our lifetime, and actually sell a player when he's doing well.
I'll tell you what, Rich won't want to hear that.
That didn't have space in our team. He didn't have space in our team, and we decided to put him on loan. Let's sell him. Let's sell him. 25, 30 million pounds. I'm sure we can get that in the Premier League. It's an English player, English premium. Let's sell like how other teams sell to us. Let's use the Liverpool model of ripping off teams sometimes when they sell English players. 30 million pounds. 30 million pounds.
And that's a good model. And you know why that's a good model? Can I tell you why that's such a good model? Is
Very
because for the first time in I don't know how many years, Man United have slipped out of the top 3 on the most valuable clubs on the Forbes list. And guess who's behind them now? Liverpool. And only by a couple, I think it's by 2 or 3 million. So that's a hell of a model. I suggest, you might want to be doing the same thing. So nice one there, Cyril. I want to ask you two. I've actually got 3 questions here.
Win something, Claude.
Or win something. I mean, it blew my mind that it's taken this long for them to.
Prize money, Claudio does end. Yeah.
Okay, gents. So 3, and this is open to the floor. So the first question: Cavani now is in a situation where he's not renewing his contract. Should Ole do what he can to keep him there for next season? Second question: Greenwood, absolute, and we've said this. He's just a natural finisher. The boy is class. Does Gareth Southgate take him to England? And then the third question: Pogba, will he stay at the end of the season?
Those are a lot of questions, and I think if you ask what I would do is different to what the club is probably going to do, because the club just...
I don't care what the club are going to do. I'm asking you.
Is not a well-run club, but yeah, with Cavani, man, Cavani hasn't seen his family because of COVID. And I think his wife is going to give birth soon, or has given birth or something. So he hasn't seen his child. You know what I mean? He hasn't seen his family. They're all in South America. Boca Juniors is offering him a 2-year contract. Obviously, Argentina and Uruguay next to each other. So what I would do, because we need to reinforce other positions within the team, and we don't have much money. The rumor is that we've got £100 million to spend this summer. So we need to get a centre back, a defensive mid. Those are the 2 positions that we need to prioritize, right? So if we get in just those 2 positions, for instance, we could get a centre back for £50 million and then get a defensive mid for 30 to 50. But if we got additional sales from like a Lingard and maybe like a Bailly or whatever, then we can probably try and buy. But let's try to keep Cavani, because we don't have money to sign, and I don't think we can afford. We can't afford our options, which is Haaland and Kane. We can't afford them. So I say keep Cavani. And then secondly, with the Greenwood thing, man, it's so tricky, man, because he's playing in a position where it's tough, man. There's Sterling, Rashford, Jadon Sancho, but yeah, man, I think he's the best finisher of the lot, after like Kane. In the front
his quality,
because he can shoot with left and right, and
he knows where the goal is, man.
Exactly. He scored 3 in the last 4 games. So I would say take him as a Man United fan. but also I'd understand why you wouldn't take him. And he's still young. I mean, he's 19 years old this year. And then the Pogba thing, hey man, listen. Me as a Pogba fan, I want the best for the guy. And if he wants to leave, I'll support him in his decision. But as a Man United fan, I'm greedy. I want the best players at Man United. I want Pogba to stay.
I think Southgate will take Greenwood, but he's not going to play much. He'll only play if there's a major injury or something.
10 minutes. Give him 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. As much as it pains me to say as a Leeds fan, but yeah, he's a good player and he should be chosen in my opinion.
Where do you guys think that would leave room for Foden? Would Foden not feature then? Or?
I think Foden's. He might not even make the squad. I think he's on the fringes.
No,
bro.
He will. But I think. Okay,
the rumor is I think
the rumor is that they're gonna have bigger squads for the Euros, so not a 23-man squad, so maybe like a 26, 28-man squad.
25.
So if they do, if they do have bigger squads because of COVID, then I think that players like Foden, and your Greenwoods.
Why are they doing that because of COVID?
They're saying that in case there's like certain players get sick or something.
Fatigue, man. They do. I agree with that. They do need extra bodies.
So certain players,
5 subs a game. You know, it's one of those
some 5 subs a game.
Why
type of thing.
They've had a full season like they would normally do before any tournament.
No, but man, it hasn't been the same. It hasn't been. How can you compare it?
Started a couple of weeks after.
They've played more games, not more games, but they've played more consecutively than
they've had less break.
With much shorter preseasons as well.
Because they played Wednesday, Saturday.
Champions League sides, Nick. Champions League sides, when they play, it's 1 week following the other one. Normally, it's 1 week when they wait.
They couldn't know anything about those, my man. Forgive him, guys.
They had a 3-month break last year during COVID lockdown.
But it wasn't. I don't think they were training in that 3 months. Everybody was training at home, and that's a very different.
Leeds were training.
But what?
That's why Leeds actually look so strong.
That is why.
The argument about fatigue doesn't make sense. Then I understand if there's COVID cases, but they've had a break.
You're saying because they had a long break, they have no warrants for fatigue. I think we're saying, because they had a long break and not a good preseason, they're a lot more fatigued because the tightest schedule.
They're prone to more injury. They're prone to more fatigue. 100%.
I highly doubt they said fatigue. I'm sure it's because of COVID cases.
No, they said COVID, but they
that's what I'm trying to say.
Could be
these guys are adding other aspects which you need to look at, which I do agree. Which with the small
holistic view, Nick. We look holistically at
we're adding sauce.
This is why Newcastle is where they're at, guys.
No. Liverpool are very, very loud about fatigue because they claim that the injuries are because of fatigue.
You say we claim?
No, you do claim.
Go look at the stats. Go look at our players. It's not claim, and it's not just fatigue.
No. Van Dijk never got fatigue.
Gomez, Van Dijk, and Matip are not fatigued. Matip is a chronic illness.
Duty.
No, Gomez is England duty. There's always international duty in any season. Anyone can get injured there.
But now Russia as well. And I told you about those international games shouldn't have been taking place before that injury happened.
And then Van Dijk, Pickford madness.
I'm not entertaining this, guys. I'm not entertaining.
Come on, man. Come on. Give us something there. Give us something.
Gents, I do want to say. What do I want to say? Oh yeah, Nick, I wanted to get your opinion on the Pogba sort of scenario.
Fuck, I love him. He must stay in the Premier League. I said it from the beginning of the year. Like, I want the best players in the world to play in our league. So you must go and buy Mbappe, Claudio. And I think, or is he going for a free? He'll be a free. No, but he will get sold probably. So they don't.
Yeah, he'll definitely get sold.
Leeds are apparently going for Aguero as well.
Leeds and Chelsea are going for Aguero. Yeah,
they do well at Chelsea.
If I'm Man United, I keep Pogba any day. I name the price. He names the price I pay. Whatever he wants, you give him. Because if they can kick on from finishing second this season and potentially add to that squad, and possibly find someone there to help Slabhead there at the back. They can really do something.
Yeah.
I was surprised that you mentioned you need another centre defensive midfielder. In my mind, I'm thinking you guys have a lot,
McTominay,
bro. Fred, McTominay, and Matic.
Guys, but don't forget, Matic is old, right? So Matic needs to go back. He needs to leave.
Yeah.
Matic wants to play more games, so he wants to go back to Benfica, which is cool. I'm happy that he can go back to Benfica. And then Fred is not a good passer of the ball. He's good at getting back the ball and disrupting. McTominay is not a defensive mid. McTominay is a box to box. As I said, he can contribute in goals. He's got the most goals for of the four of them, like Pogba and them. He's got the most goals as a midfielder. So we need
guys.
Exactly. So we need someone.
I like Dean. Dean can stay. Listen, I like your opinions.
Dean, but Dean's talking rubbish. Pogba doesn't even wear Nike. Pogba doesn't even wear Nike. Pogba wipes the floor with all the midfielders at the club that Dean supports. But but as I was saying, is that the thing is it's like you need a defensive mid so that you don't play McFred, because he likes playing McFred. You need a midfielder like a Kante, like a Fabinho, like a Ndidi, like a Rodri, who can hold their own, a Casemiro, who can hold their own by being a midfielder alone. You know what I mean? No, Phillips you can keep. Don't worry. We're looking at Rice. I want Rice. Someone who can just hold the midfield alone, and then Pogba can play next to the person.
Speaking to that about that Pogba, I think the fact, Claudio, you asking that question, if they weren't to finish in the top 4 this season, so they more than likely will, I think that's Pogba gone. I don't think he's going to stay without playing Champions League football. So I think them finishing in the position that they did. You think so?
Yeah, I think he's made his mind up, man.
No, but the problem is with Pogba leaving is that clubs don't have money, and clubs have other priorities right now. The big clubs that the team that he wanted to go to is Real Madrid. Real Madrid's priority right now is to sign Mbappe. Well, they will do whatever. They will take out 120 million. They'll even sell Eden Hazard if they can to somehow fund that deal to get him. And they're obviously trying to build. They're obviously renovating their stadium and putting a roof over it, and that's costing a lot of money. Putting a hole in their pants. I think it's tricky. Juventus, yes, but Juventus also doesn't have money. They have to do weird things. Juventus sign players for free and then pay them so much money. Like Aaron Ramsey is like top 10 highest paid players in Italy, but it's because they're going for free. Adrian Rabiot, same thing. So Juventus have to be clever about it.
But I think this next transfer window is going to be a very, very interesting one, largely because, look, Nick was asking the question, where does Pogba go? You've made some valid points, Settle. But I think it's going to be very interesting because the clubs are downplaying the amount of money they have because of COVID. No, they're downplaying because they're saying of COVID. And this is a rhetoric that they're pushing so all the deals can come down a little bit. But we all forget the master. Exactly. And we all need to understand the dark arts master, Mino Raiola, however you pronounce his name, Pogba's agent, will do whatever it takes, and he will get the buyers for their players. So you watch these transfers still happen.
No, true. He's a wheeler dealer, you know what I mean? But I just want to answer what Scott says here. If Juve say they'll give us Ronaldo plus for Pogba, hey man, Juventus will have to give us Ronaldo plus money.
Yeah, sure.
Because of the age. Because of the age. Because of the age. Because of the age.
Let's drop mic.
Just because of the age.
End of the show.
Pogba's 28. Pogba's 28. Ronaldo's 35. I'm not taking a 35-year-old for a 28-year-old direct swap. I need money as well.
But you're not getting more than 20 million more.
Yeah, money. Give us something
for Real Madrid.
But then if it's direct swap, nah, I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna do that. Rather,
right?
You probably get the money from T-shirt sales alone.
Yep, no doubts. Yep. And considering that they've just dropped out of that top 3 on the Forbes list, that might be the right way to go. Yeah, it might be the right way to go. Gents, on that note, pretty much final thoughts before we wrap up.
I just want to say so we haven't said much about this, but for the first time ever, 2 South African teams are in the CAF Champions League semi-finals. Amakusa Mahle, Kaizer Chiefs, and Mamelodi Sundowns, Bafana Style. They're in the CAF Champions League semi-finals, so it's great for South African football.
Is it semis or quarterfinals?
Quarterfinals. So two South African teams in the quarterfinals for the first time ever.
Hopefully, Bafana can get some confidence from that.
Hey man, they need to actually. They need to. That's true. That's definitely true. Otherwise, I'm all good.
On that note, I saw also Peter Musumani was also like voted the best manager in Egypt as well. So another South African doing really good.
These guys they're doing good things, but Bafana, worst thing ever.
Long story, that one. Long story.
You see, Joma Sono threw his name in the hat there for the job.
So did Carlos Queiroz as well.
How's the man can't get his club
Marcus
back
Curry
into
to be
the
careful there. Telling us about Pepe tonight.
I'm telling you, Pepe's emotional. Pepe will get under the skin. He's worse than a rat. He's worse than a wart on the back of your backside, dude. That is terrible. It's terrible. Right, guys. Also, okay, before we go, we are going to have a new show where we do talk more local football. So if any of you have a name for us, Settle's thrown out the name Cassie Flavor. I said that was too overplayed, too overused. So if anyone else has another name, please drop it in the comments. Let us know. And thank you very much for everyone who joined us. We had a great turnout today from Nico, Marcus, Scotty, Pumalani, Darren's debut. Darren, thank you so much for making a debut and appearance.
Thanks a lot, Darren, and all the best to Leeds United. I hope that you guys finish ahead of Arsenal.
I think we're going to. I was hoping Wonga was going to be on so I could chirp him a bit, but I think we will end above Arsenal to be fair. But yeah, thanks for having me on. It's been great, guys. And Claudio, good luck for Monday. But let's hope for a Leeds win, guys.
Come on. Leeds all the way.
I was completely confused there. I was like, Champions League's tomorrow. What's he talking about Monday? I was completely confused.
Well, after tomorrow, you won't have those problems.
You won't have those problems anymore. Liverpool would be good.
Also, I just want to say thank you to Mark for joining us. Mark for joining us, Dean for joining us, and then
thanks, man.
And Cameron as well for jumping on. Everyone, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. And on that note,
thank you so much, guys.
Cheers. Keep well, guys.
Cheers.